The Heavenly Pavilion had 4 levels in total. Normal people from the independent state could only dine on the first level. Some martial artists and mercenaries could enter the second level. The only people who could enter the third and fourth levels were wealthy, respectable and came from powerful backgrounds. After entering the Heavenly Pavilion, Yi Wanwan surveyed her surroundings. It had to be said that this restaurant was truly extremely luxurious and could even be described as extravagant. Master 7. Master Big. Sister Autumn Water. A middle-aged man's expression slightly shifted when he saw them and he personally came out to greet them. Did your eyes move to your ass? Don't you see Sis Fong? Big Dipper looked at the middle-aged man with a chilly expression. What? The middle-aged man's expression dramatically changed as he turned to look at the cold-looking woman next to them. Hasn't Bro Flattop been missing for many years? Rumors said she died already. What's this? President. You're back. The middle-aged man had an ingratiating smile as he looked at Yi Wanwan. Enough nonsense. Give us a private room, Autumn Water ordered impatiently. Yes. Please follow me. The middle-aged man bowed and acted very cautious. Soon, Yi Wanwan's group stepped onto the 4th level and entered a luxurious private room. Yi Wanwan was stunned as she read the menu. Flying Dragon. Aquatic Hegemon. Earthly Hegemon. What the heck are these? Sis Fong, didn't the Flying Dragon used to be your favorite? How about we order it? Big Dipper asked cheerfully. Yi Wanwan nodded with feigned understanding. It's been a while since I've tasted it. Yi Wanwan then ordered the Flying Dragon. A moment later, a Heavenly Pavilion waiter served some dishes. Hello, this is the Earthly Hegemon. Please enjoy, the waiter said. Yi Wanwan tasted it immediately. Smells so good. The taste of a beast is truly extraordinary, a Big Dipper ate heartily. A beast? Yi Wanwan's expression shifted? What freaking kind of meat did they serve me? Anyhow, it definitely isn't normal. Isn't it edible though? The Flying Dragon, please enjoy. A moment later, the waiter finished serving all the dishes. Sis Fong, your favorite is here. Big Dipper said happily. When Yi Wanwan saw the supposed Flying Dragon, she wanted to smack her head into a wall and end it all. The Flying Dragon. I knew it. Isn't this freaking fried ants? There were numerous martial artists in the independent state, so there were countless high-end restaurants like the Heavenly Pavilion. The ingredients they used were all high in protein so that the energy burned off by martial arts training every day could be replenished. Sis Fong, why aren't you eating it? Big Dipper asked when he saw that Yi Wanwan wasn't eating. Yi Wanwan wanted to throw up with one glance at the fried ants. Who wants to freaking eat it? Who ordered this thing? You don't like it, Sis Fong. That's true, girls shouldn't like to eat this kind of thing, the 7-star aloofly said as his gaze landed on Yi Wanwan. However, before 7-star could continue, Yi Wanwan picked up her chopsticks and stuffed a mouthful of fried ants into her mouth. Not bad. The taste didn't change too much, Yi Wanwan commented with a nod after swallowing the fried ants in one go. Autumn Water, do you want some? Yi Wanwan looked at Autumn Water. Autumn Water vehemently shook her head. I don't really like to eat that. Yevanyam. Look at how normal Autumn Water is. And then look at Bro Flattop, isn't her taste a bit too F***ing weird? As the saying went, it was better to deal with painful things quickly. Yi Wanwan stared at the plate of fried ants and ate the fastest she'd ever eaten in her whole life to finish the entire plate of Flying Dragon without any hesitation. As Yi Wanwan repressed her strong desire to throw up, she said with a smile, delicious. Delicious my ***. How about we order another plate? You usually eat 2 or 3 plates, Sis Fong, Big Dipper asked. Big Dipper, I'm going to punch you and make you a bigger idiot. Before Yi Wanwan could say anything, a chortle was heard from outside the door. A second later, the door was opened and a dozen or so men poured inside. The leader was a middle-aged man who was impeccably dressed in a suit and wore a pair of gold-framed glasses. Sir President, you aren't still dead? The man in a suit joked as he looked at Yi Wanwan. Yi Wanwan turned to the man in a suit. His speech and attitude were incredibly arrogant, but Yi Wanwan was sincerely grateful toward him. If it weren't for his sudden appearance, Big Dipper would probably have ordered 2 more plates of fried ants for her. When they saw the man in a suit, 7-star was expressionless but Big Dipper had a light frown. Big Dipper looked at Yi Wanwan and said quietly, Sis Fong. He's Li Machin, the illegitimate son retrieved from the outside 5 years ago by the third elder of the Fearless Alliance, Li Si. Wanwan was slightly surprised by Big Dipper's words. So this man in a suit was also a member of the Fearless Alliance, but he dared to be so arrogant and bossy toward the president of the Fearless Alliance. How come? Sis Fong, the Fearless Alliance is no longer the old Fearless Alliance from before you left. Its internal management is divided into 2 parties. The elders form one party and a majority of the Fearless Alliance's power is currently controlled by those old geezers. This Li Machin is a prodigal son who relies on third elder's power and looks down on everyone, but no one dares to offend him, Big Dipper quietly explained with a sigh. If this was before and the president hadn't gone missing, who in the Fearless Alliance would have dared to be disrespectful toward the president? Third elder himself would be respectful and well-behaved toward the president, let alone Li Machin, third elder's illegitimate son. Wanwan came to a realization as she listened to Big Dipper's quiet explanation. Currently, as the president, she was nearly considered a mere figurehead by the old geezers who were truly in control of the Fearless Alliance. Thus, even an illegitimate son of the Fearless Alliance's third elder dared to provoke her on her doorstep. Li Machin. You're extremely gutsy. You dare to disrespect the president? Autumn Water stood up and admonished Li Machin. Huh? President? Li Machin snarled. The president has been missing for so many years, she probably died on the outside. Now, some random stray casually comes here and claims to be the president and I have to kneel down and believe her? How impudent! Autumn Water rebuked. Who said you could talk? Li Machin raised the glass of red wine in his hand and splattered the red wine onto Autumn Water's face in front of everyone. You're dead! Big Dipper grew furious and immediately stood up. Li Machin, if I don't kill you today, I'll take your surname. Autumn Water marched toward Li Machin with a dark expression. However, several strong men blocked Autumn Water before she could take more than a few steps, preventing her from approaching Li Machin. Ha ha ha, Autumn Water, you're nothing but a mere dog of the Fearless Alliance. You dare to touch me? Li Machin acta utarli fearlas. Li Machin snarled. Autumn Water, just wait. I'm eventually gonna strip your clothes off and *CK you until you beg for mercy. You! Upon hearing such crude words, Autumn Water's face was so dark that ink was nearly dripping from it. Before Autumn Water could say anything more, Wanwan abruptly stood up and strolled toward Li Machin. Scram! Wanwan's bone-chilling gaze swept over the strong men that surrounded her. The strong men frowned. It was unsuitable for them to both leave or stay. Oh! Are you planning to revolt? Wanwan's lips curled up, revealing an utterly icy smile. The strong men sunk into silence at Wanwan's words, hesitation surfacing on their faces. No matter what, this woman was currently the president of the Fearless Alliance still. Scram! Yevanya shouted. The strong men reflexively turned to the side. Wanwan stepped forward and reached Li Machin. Do you King really think you're the boss of the Fearless Alliance? Li Machin raised the wine glass in his hand and prepared to throw it at Wanwan. However, before Li Machin could do that, Wanwan lifted her arm. In the next second, a crisp slap was heard. Wanwan had mercilessly slapped Li Machin's face with the back of her hand. You King dared, Li Machin looked at Wanwan incredulously. Slap! Slap! Wanwan snorted and slapped him 2 more times before he could finish speaking. Who do you think you are? Wanwan looked at the dumbfounded Li Machin and coldly said, even your father wouldn't dare to be so arrogant to me. I'm asking you, who the *LL do you think you are? Slap slap, Wanwan mercilessly served Li Machin several more loud slaps. It had to be said that Li Machin truly had a thick hide. Wanwan's hand was aching from the slapping. I'll kill you. Li Machin returned to his senses and flew off the handle. He wanted to retaliate. However, Big Dipper's figure flashed, and he firmly restrained Li Machin from behind, preventing him from moving. Big Dipper. You be *starred. Just wait, I'm gonna tell my father to kill you. Li Machin growled. Oh, you be *starred, you want your father to kill me? Sure. I'm gonna kill you first today so that you can wait for me in hell, Big Dipper replied with contempt. Why are you standing around? Hit them. Unable to move, Li Machin furiously looked at the strong men around him. These strong men were all his father's underlings and were all first-rate experts. The leader of the strong men looked hesitant. Li Machin could disregard authority and act like a tyrant with third elder backing him, but they couldn't. If they attacked the president. Move if you want to die. Wanwan's gaze was akin to a sharp dagger. In the end, the strong men brought by Li Machin were suppressed by Wanwan's overwhelming aura and didn't move at all. They all stood in their spots without a word. Are you all king deaf? Li Machin angrily shouted upon seeing his subordinates' lack of action. Slap! Another ruthless slap was bestowed on Li Machin's face. Wanwan picked up a chopstick from the table and fatally held it against Li Machin's Adam's apple. You haven't answered me yet. A cold glint sparkled in Wanwan's eyes as her lips pulled into a bewitching smile. Answer what? Li Machin shouta. Tell me who you think you are, Wanwan murmured. Li Machin was about to talk when Wanwan suddenly applied force through her hands. A second later, the chopstick broke through Li Machin's skin and rivulets of blood flowed down following the chopstick. Yevanyam. *T, isn't the quality of this chopstick too good? I just wanted to frighten Li Machin, so why did I poke through? Astonishment surfaced in Seven Star's eyes as he looked at her. If this woman wasn't Sis Fong, would she really have had the guts to offend Third Elder like this? Huh? You dare to kill me? Fear finally appeared in Li Machin's eyes. Even if the woman standing before him was truly Bro Flattop, how could she have not understood the Fearless Alliance's current situation with Bro Flattop's intelligence? The true president probably wouldn't have dared to treat him like this, right? Let alone a fake president. He didn't believe this woman would really dare to kill him, but Li Machin couldn't help but falter when he saw the unconcealed murderous intent in her eyes. Killing you would dirty my hands. I'll spare your life. I think your father will give me an explanation tomorrow. Wanwan snorted and distastefully tossed the bloody chopstick aside. Big Dipper, Wanwan called, turning to Big Dipper, who was standing behind Li Machin. Yes, Sis Fong? Big Dipper grinned and stepped up fawningly. Toss out this eyesore, Wanwan ordered. Sure. Big Dipper nodded and clutched Li Machin by his neck before telling Autumn Water, Autumn Water, open the window for me. Huh? Autumn Water was taken back. Big Dipper, this is the 4th floor. So what if it's the 4th floor? Sis Fong told me to toss him out, so I'll do it even if it's the 40th floor, Big Dipper replied. Wanwan, I freaking meant for you to toss him outside the door. Who said anything about throwing him out from the 4th floor? The distance between each level in this restaurant was very large. The 4th floor of the Heavenly Pavilion was equivalent to the 6th or 7th floor of a normal building. Don't misunderstand. Let's talk things through. Li Machin's expression shifted when he saw Autumn Water actually opening the window. The strong men brought by Li Machin clenched their fists and looked like they wanted to stop them, but none of them dared to act rashly in front of Wanwan. Swish! 2 breaths later, Big Dipper tossed Li Machin out the window. Wanwan inwardly clutched her forehead and her lips twitched. She really hadn't intended on throwing Li Machin out a 4th floor window. Why are Big Dipper's comprehension skills so powerful? He was the one who tossed the person but shifted the blame onto her. Big Dipper clapped his hands. He looked at Wanwan and said with a grin, Sis Fong, he probably fell to his death. If not, he'll be severely crippled. Good job. Wanwan was exasperated but had to smile and put on a pleased front. That old geezer, Third Elder, was powerful beyond words in the Fearless Alliance and controlled more than half the Fearless Alliance's power. Even if the true president of the Fearless Alliance returned, she would probably be cautious and wary of him. Look at what I've done now. I sent Third Elder's illegitimate son to an inch of his life. I've established a feud. What are you standing around for? Why aren't you hurrying to see if your young master is dead yet? Big Dipper asked the strong men. The people brought there by Li Machin all rushed out upon hearing that. What a downer. Autumn Water snorted. That *** dared to splash red wine on me. If he doesn't die today, I'll kill him eventually. Enough, hasn't Sis Fong avenged you already? Li Machin is utter garbage. His body already turned hollow from all the wine and women a long time ago. With his awful health, he'd be an inch from death even without a drop from that height, Big Dipper joked. Xiao Fongfong is the best, Autumn Water hugged Wanwan. Wanwan was already accustomed to Autumn Water's passion, so she reacted calmly. In truth, although she acted just now partially to imitate Bro Flattop, the fury and protective feelings that rushed into her heart when she saw Li Machin saying such crude things to Autumn Water were genuine. Sis Feng, third elder isn't someone to be trifled with. You should be more cautious, a 7-star told Yi Wanwan aloofly. When Yi Wanwan heard that, her lips turned into a cold smile, as though she didn't care about some third elder. Forget it, we're done eating. What a downer. Sis Feng, let's go to the casino and gamble a few rounds. Big Dipper suggested enthusiastically. Yevanyan. Can I not go? I still haven't recovered from the trauma of the flying dragon, can't I get some time to get over it? Soon, their group walked downstairs and left Heavenly Pavilion. I still have some business to attend to. Have fun. 7-star turned around and left by himself. So much damn business. Big Dipper glanced at 7-star before promptly ignoring him. Yi Wanwan relaxed slightly upon seeing the most troublesome 7-star leaving. This feeling was akin to seeing her head teacher leave the classroom. After 7-star left, Big Dipper drove the car away. Half an hour later, the trio arrived at a grand, luxurious casino. At a place like the Independent State, the gambling industry was thriving and grand. Luxurious casinos like this weren't a rare sight. The periphery of the casino was filled with digital gambling machines while the interior was filled with the types of games people could gamble their lives and possessions on. Sis Autumn Water, Master 7 rare guests. As Yi Wanwan's group entered the casino, a middle-aged man in a well-ironed suit hastily came up to greet them with a bright smile. What, don't you see our president? Big Dipper tossed his signature arrogant red hair, and his beautiful, flirtatious eyes cooled, the murderous intention in them making the man shiver inexplicably. This guy might act silly and innocent when he was in front of Yi Wanwan, but he could be rather terrifying when he was on the outside. The middle-aged man's figure trembled and he instantly turned to Yi Wanwan, his expression shifting. The president of the Fearless Alliance? The president of the Fearless Alliance, Bro Flattop, has been missing for many years, but she actually returned. Since Big Dipper himself said this was Bro Flattop, it had to be Bro Flattop. President, we haven't seen each other in many years, so I didn't recognize you. It's my fault. How about this, Bro Flattop? We'll give you 1 million bargaining chips tonight for you to use as you please, the man in a suit said with a smile as he looked at Yi Wanwan and wiped his sweat. A greeting gift of 1 million bargaining chips. Am I that respected? Yi Wanwan was inwardly shocked, but she looked contemptuous on the outside. She coldly said, Do you think I lack 1 million bargaining chips? The man in a suit was taken back and vehemently shook his head. And no, your esteemed self naturally wouldn't lack that money. This little one misspoke. When the man finished speaking, he lifted his right arm and slapped his own mouth. Yi Wanwan was rendered speechless. Bro Flattop truly had a merciless reputation in the Independent State. Enough nonsense, take our president inside already. Autumn Water was a bit impatient. Right. Come and play however you wish, esteemed guests. Please enter. The man in a suit instantly nodded and led Yi Wanwan, Big Dipper, and Autumn Water into the casino's inner area. Yi Wanwan soon stopped in front of a gambling table. There were 5 men sitting around the table and the dealer was currently dealing the cards. Yi Wanwan knew nothing about gambling. If it was some dice game, perhaps she could play a few rounds, but she'd never touched card games before, nor did she have any interest in them. However, Bro Flattop's gambling skills were reported to be very good and she would visit all the major casinos and play a few rounds nearly every week, winning more than losing. Unfortunately, Yi Wanwan didn't know how to gamble and had no choice but to serve as a money giver. Yi Wanwan was forced to sit down unwillingly. Everyone, you lost again. Yi Wanwan had just sat down when an extremely beautiful man in a tracksuit whose ink hair reached his waist announced aloofly and he collected all the gambling chips for himself. The other 4 people sighed simultaneously and tossed their cards onto the table before leaving. F*CK me. Big Dipper was taken back when he saw the beautiful man. His expression drastically changed and he reflexively wanted to leave. Yi Wanwan's only reaction was a slight raise of her brows as she thought, is the average person in the Independent State this attractive? She was able to run into such a good-looking person at a random casino. However, Yi Wanwan was merely thinking objectively. It was like seeing a beautiful flower and being unable to help but glance at it a few more times. After all, she was a worldly person and lived with a man like Si Yihan for 2 lives. Any other stunning beauty would be nothing but mere smoke drifting past her eyes. When Yi Wanwan thought up to this point, an unavoidable bitterness arose in her heart. 2 whole lives and she still couldn't see through that person. Si Yan. No matter what, she had to find him. Although she was encased in layers and layers of peril and trapped inside the Fearless Alliance, she would have a chance to borrow the Fearless Alliance's power to search for Si Yihan as long as she made the people of the Fearless Alliance completely believe she was Bro Flattop. Otherwise, searching for a person in the independent state with her own power was akin to looking for a needle in an ocean. Hey, are you okay? Autumn Water's brows furrowed when she saw Big Dipper's odd expression. And nothing. Big Dipper turned around and didn't say anything else. Soon, the long-haired man's gaze landed on Wanwan and he asked, "How do you want to play?" Wanwan returned to her senses upon hearing that. How should she know how to play? Hence, she said, however you like. Deal. The long-haired man didn't waste words and hooked his finger at the dealer. Wanwan stared at the gambling chips in front of the man and counted roughly. These bargaining chips alone were worth at least 10 million, right? What a freaking extravagant gamble. Thankfully, neither Bro Flattop nor the Fearless Alliance lacked money. Even if she lost, she wouldn't be losing her own money. Wanwan and the long-haired man were the only two people sitting at the table right now. 100. After receiving his cards, the long-haired man threw bargaining chips equivalent to 1 million onto the table. Wanwan looked at the cards in her hand. She was calm on the surface, but there was an ongoing war inside her head. She had no freaking idea what these cards meant. Wanwan had no choice but to puff herself up to look impressive. Big Dipper exchanged an equivalent of 3 million in bargaining chips, so she could probably play 2 rounds, but if she lost... Call. Wanwan casually threw down 1 million in bargaining chips. It wasn't her money anyway, so she didn't feel any heartache about it. The long-haired man didn't choose to continue and tossed his cards onto the table. Straight flush. Wanwan looked at it. It was 9, 10, J, Q, and K. As for her cards, they were 3, 7, 2, 9, and 5. Your cards? Autumn Water looked at Wanwan with surprise. She had the guts to call it 1 million with these cards? Her biggest card was a mere 9. Even someone with normal card luck could win with closed eyes when faced with Wanwan's cards. You lost. The long-haired man took away Wanwan's 1 million in bargaining chips. What did I do? How did I lose 1 million just like that? Was a casino a freaking suitable place for humans to be in? If this was her own money, she would have gone and jumped off a building already. Wanwan was utterly clueless about this type of gambling and didn't even understand the cards. How could she continue like this? If this news of incident traveled to 7 Stars' ears. Hey? This type of play is pointless, Wanwan said calmly. Then how do you want to play? The long-haired man asked. If we want to play, then let's add some excitement to it. A smile turned up on Wanwan's lips. As you wish. The long-haired man was expressionless. You said it yourself. Wanwan turned to the dealer. Get a new deck. Yes? The man in a suit specifically told her that this woman was the president of the Fearless Alliance, Bro Flattop, so how could she dare to refuse? The dealer immediately went to retrieve a new deck of cards. What would you like to play? The dealer inquired while looking at Wanwan. HM. How about fight the landlord, the 3-person kind? Wanwan answered. Fight. Fight the landlord? The dealer was stunned in place. No one had ever played that. What? We can't? Yevanyan förordnad. You can, of course you can. It's a casino, you can play however you want, the dealer frantically replied. If it's fight the landlord, we need at least 4 people, right? The dealer asked cautiously. I want to play with 3 people. Yevanyan similed. Before, she nearly never lost a round of happily fight the landlord on the internet and lost count of the beans she won. But she didn't know how to play with 4 people, mostly because there were too many cards involved with the 4-person version and she couldn't hold it all. Autumn Water, come and play. Wanwan turned to Autumn Water. Ah? Xiaofeng, I don't know it. Autumn Water frantically shook her head. Little Big, don't you know 3-person fight the landlord? You play. Autumn Water dragged Big Dipper over. Ah? I'm not good at it, not good at it, Big Dipper said with his head lowered. Enough. Sit down and play. Wanwan looked at Big Dipper. Since Wanwan had spoken, Big Dipper had to sit down. Big Dipper reflexively looked at the long-haired man and their eyes met. We seem to have met somewhere before, the long-haired man said after examining Big Dipper for a moment. Anano. I have a common face. Cold sweat seeped out of Big Dipper's forehead. They exchanged blows 2 years ago, but this guy forgot him now 2 years later. Good riddance. However, why didn't Sis Feng react at all when she saw this person? Perhaps too much time had passed, so these two people didn't recognize each other. Thank goodness, thank goodness. Otherwise, this would have definitely turned into a world war. Soon, the dealers started dealing and each person got 16 cards. Landlord, Yi Wanwan said. Steal the landlord. Big Dipper saw the cards in his hands and slapped the table excitedly. Yevanyam. Big Dipper, you be asterisk starred. You stole my landlord. I also want to be landlord, the long-haired man interjected. Oh, then I don't want it, Yi Wanwan said. Based on how excited Big Dipper was, he probably had nice cards. Then I also don't want it, Big Dipper also said. Yevanyam. After the long-haired man took the landlord card, he played a 3. Yi Wanwan immediately played a big joker. Her remaining cards were all a chain. As long as the landlord couldn't play, she would win. I bomb. Big Dipper threw down 4 5s with a bright laugh. Yi Wanwan, why the heck are you bombing me? Do you follow? Big Dipper asked. Yi Wanwan and the long-haired man both shook their heads. I bomb again? Big Dipper valiantly threw down 4 2s. Playing fight the landlord with me. Ha ha ha. Big Dipper guffawed and threw down a 5. Then the long-haired man used his little joker to cut him off. Pass. Big Dipper said. Then the long-haired man threw down all his cards. It appears I won, the long-haired man said with a smile. Yi Wanwan, who had exploded in fury, flipped over the last 2 cards in Big Dipper's hand. A 6 and a 7. Whose team are you on? Yi Wanwan stared at Big Dipper. Yours of course, Sis Feng, Big Dipper answered in a matter-of-course tone. If you're on my F***king team, why the heck are you bombing me? Yi Wanwan nearly threw her cards at Big Dipper's face. As if it weren't enough that he bombed her twice in a row and ended up letting the landlord win. If Yi Wanwan had an axe in her hand, perhaps she would have hacked Big Dipper in half already. Sis Feng. I had a bomb, so of course I used it. Look at how many cards I played while you only played 1 card. Yet you blame me. Big Dipper looked at Yi Wanwan with complaints. Do you want to scram yourself, or do you want me to kick you out? Yi Wanwan asked Big Dipper. Sis Feng. Give me another chance. I haven't played it for a while, so I'm a bit out of practice. I'll definitely carefully think about it next round and play well. Big Dipper laughed in embarrassment. Deal. Yi Wanwan snapped brusquely. The dealer cursorily glanced at Big Dipper. With his input, this fight the landlord? I don't bid for landlord, Big Dipper said as he looked at the cards in his hand. I also don't, the long-haired man said. Since they both don't want it, their cards must be bad. Yi Wanwan was pensive. I bid for landlord. She took the landlord card. Although her hand wasn't wonderful, it was still decent. Yi Wanwan first tossed out her only single card, a 3. I bomb. Big Dipper threw down 4 queens with a bright laugh. Yi Wanwan ferociously glared at Big Dipper. Pass. I bomb again. Big Dipper threw down both the small and big joker. Yevanyan slipstayched. I merely played a 3, yet you used 2 hands to bomb me. Pass. Show me how many bombs you have. Bomb me again if you dare, Yi Wanwan said with a dry smile as she looked at Big Dipper. No more bombs. A Big Dipper shook his head before throwing down all the cards in his hand. They were all a chain. Big Dipper, didn't you freaking have a bad hand? Why in the world didn't you bid for landlord with such a good hand? You chose to dig a hole for me instead? Sis Feng, I said earlier that I would definitely think carefully and play well if you gave me a chance. How about it? I'm quite good, right? Ha ha ha. Big Dipper guffawed uncontrollably. Scram. Yi Wanwan looked at Big Dipper. Before Big Dipper could say anything, Yi Wanwan coldly smiled and said, if you don't scram, I'm going to beat you to death. Big Dipper chuckled in embarrassment. You play? You play? I suddenly remember that I have something to do, so I'll go now. Soon, Big Dipper stood up and escaped from the casino, taking Autumn Water with him. Big Dipper had no doubt that Yi Wanwan would really beat him to death. Since there's no one else to play with, let's play another day, the long-haired man said to Yi Wanwan. No. Yi Wanwan blocked the long-haired man's side. Let's play 2-person fight the landlord.